Good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. It is your boy Dryzzy, the wrestling plug, and this is Grappling for Positions, episode 2. We did not get canceled after the first one, so we back again. And it is March. It is Women's History Month. I know that I've heard people say that they don't recognize it in the government anymore. I don't really care. Women need to get their love too. And it's March. I wanted to make sure that today's panel was all women and we talk about women topics. So I have an incredible panel today. I'm going to send it off first to the first lady of Wrestling Republic.
Hey everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Grapplin for Position. Happy to be here. Happy to be a part of the second episode, especially since the last episode, which the top three was all my choices. So I don't know. Maybe I'll get as lucky this episode, but I'm just really happy to be here, especially with these two um next ladies on the panel who I have recorded podcasts with before and hopefully again really, really soon.
That is dope. Now, Megan is in house, but I got two very special guests for this one. I'm going to send this one out to the good homie, Dora.
Hi, hello. D the Machine 24 on all my socials. I'm just happy to be here. I hope you guys like the top three that I picked. One of them is an indie, so I'm super excited about to introduce an indie instead of like a major um, company. I've worked with Megan before, so yeah, Jersey first time. So yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I do thank you all for asking me to do this because I'm not on too many podcasts right now. I'm not doing anything as far as my own thing, so it's nice to just be hopping around and being on everybody else's podcast with them.
Ooh, that's dope. We got a free agent in the building. She's a free agent in the building. And now send you out to the natural herself.
Hello, everybody. Astrid. It's my first time being here, so I'm really excited for this. I'm really looking forward to speaking with every one of you about women's wrestling and our favorite matches. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm nervous for my picks, so hopefully I'm not the only one that picks them. But no, we're glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It is my pleasure to actually have all of you here. And no need to be nervous. And honestly, that is one of the things about this platform. It is seeing what we all have in common and what we all have different. But we all also do have rules. I make sure I read these rules at the beginning of every episode. That way people get used to it. As long as we follow these rules, we should be fine. But the rules are: rule number one, it ain't real glass. Wrestling is a form of art and theater not to be taken to the point of real violence. We are adults capable of having a healthy conversation, no personal attacks. Rule two, closed mouths don't get fed. Feel free to voice your opinion. Chances are you're not the only one that may feel that way, no matter how ridiculous you think the suggestion is. Number three, loud and wrong. Hear each other out and do not talk over each other. Just because you're loud does not mean you're wrong. Number four, time limit draws. There are certain topics that we could talk about forever and ever. But to keep this down, I, the moderator, will be keeping time. So when we do have to move, we will unfortunately have to move on, no matter how great the conversation is going. And number five, Ben's favorite rule. There are certain names that we will not speak of on this show, and that is due to we cannot separate art from the artist. So those names will not be spoken of, and we will not even put them in topics that would use them. This is not debatable. It is a Wrestling Republic rule. Do we all understand the rules?
Good.
They have to know the
All right.
names though.
Oh
You
yeah,
have to
we
put
don't put them in the chat. Put them in the chat.
they don't know the name.
No,
Yeah, we don't know the names yet. That's what I was gonna
I
say.
will
Or
type it in the
maybe.
chat, but it does get really rapid. It gets real rapid, Wolverine-ish at times. but
Yes,
he's not going to
but
be
that name,
a.
yeah, that name won't be a part of today's topic.
All right, let us get down and dirty into this list. We are creating a top 10 list of the top 10 matches over the last 25 years. So from 2000 to 2025 is the range that we have. And I am going to mix it up. I am going to go with Astrid. What match do you want to suggest for the panel first?
Uh, One that I really, really enjoyed, and I feel like it's monumental, I guess is the word I could say as well for women's wrestling. And this is one of the reasons why I brought it up as well. I'm not saying it's the best match ever because it's not, but I feel like at the same time it was groundbreaking and it was one that I feel like it had us at the edge of our seats when it was happening. And to me, it's one of my favorites as well because I was there to watch it. It was one of the reasons why I went to this event to begin with. And that was the first WrestleMania women's main event, which was Becky versus Charlotte versus Ronda.
Mm, the long one. Well, the match wasn't long, but the
Mhm.
show was very
Yes,
long.
it was past midnight when it ended.
Like, I think it was the first mania that started on one day and ended on another.
Hmm.
So where would we like to put this match?
Um, I mean, it was a very important match. I would definitely say number three.
Number three. Any objections?
I would say four, maybe. Just wait. Can will we switch stuff around as they come up, kind of thing? Okay, then
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
Yes.
okay with three. Three's
Yes.
good. Then three's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Start.
I was in the top five
Yeah.
in there somewhere for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Ronda versus Flair versus Becky. The man's coming out
Mhm.
party. Well, I wouldn't call it the coming out party, but her ascension to the main event. All right, so we have our number three spot. Dora, D the Machine.
Yes.
What match you got?
Um, I would say it's more recent. I would say over the past, I think it's year because I think it was maybe only a few months ago. I would say the Aja Kong versus um, what is it? Oh my gosh, what was I lost it. One second.
Aja and
Trisha
Trish.
versus Trisha Dora. Yeah, the first ever show
I,
that they had that Ashe ever
at
had.
Ashe.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a really good choice.
Just because that one for me, yeah, because
And
they had just started. It's something that, there's not a lot of representation for everybody at this time. I mean, they are starting to build for everybody, but there wasn't always that. So I think Ashe having a
mhm,
women's match and having two black women at that was is really important. I know not everybody watches Shay, it's a new company, but I think that match was really important just for the women's community in general, for everyone to see that. And because Ashe, I like
I
Ashe. I
love
know
it.
they've only been about a year and they're doing really good work. They always make sure they have a great show. They always make sure they have a women's match. So I think that's really important because a lot of companies will just scratch women's matches. So
I love the
Yeah.
pick. I love the pick, and Lord knows I love some Trisha Dora. And
yeah,
where
I've
will we
seen
like to
her
put
live
it?
twice. I love watching her wrestle. It's good.
Yes. Where would we like to put this match?
What you
Oh,
think, Astrid?
I'm like between because I feel like the Ronda, like the women's main event might go down a little, so I was between like maybe like a four or a six, maybe.
Oh,
Hmm.
I haven't seen that match. Um, but whenever Trish do um wrestle, whether it's for AEW or Ring of Honor. I do enjoy watching her matches as
Mhm.
well. Um, I guess I guess a four. I think go with a four.
So Aja and Trisha 4. Is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
That works. Hmm. All right, Megan,
Yes.
you are up. What do you got for me?
Uh, well, I have to go back to WWE for a second because this match not only it may not have been the best match, but it was a history making match, and it is the Trish Stratus and Lita Raw 2004, the first time a women's match main evented on Raw. And it meant something. It meant something to the other women wrestlers. It meant something to Lita and Trish. It showed that um, women were finally being seen as equal. They weren't just eye candy. They weren't just their matches wasn't just bathroom breaks. It wasn't even like a side thought. It was a actual main event match. So definitely Trish versus Lita 2004, the Raw main event.
Hmm. That's an interesting one. I heard most of the time I hear a lot of people throw the Unforgiven match out there, but I think that was in the same year though. I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they were in the same year.
I think so.
And where would we like to put that?
Mm.
I'm gonna let the ladies decide.
I kind of want that
Yeah.
at two or three. I think that's
Yeah.
pretty high up. That's pretty, yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's the one
I
that goes
had.
up there for sure.
Yeah, and I had it on my. I have it on my list too.
Yeah. When we did our other show, we kept having that issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, but
Mm,
yeah. So I don't
It's
know. I
not an
guess
issue.
what
It's
you
a good
think.
thing. We're thinking alike.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
yeah.
Of course, my fault. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Uh,
So what you think,
I'll, s-
Drizzy?
I'll say maybe
Uh,
two,
I would say
right?
two. Yeah.
Uh,
two.
Two.
So Trish and Lita too. Lock in.
yeah.
All right, Astrid, you are up.
Um. So this one I picked it because it's the first one for the women, and I feel like they did I feel like a really well mix of including everybody that they could at the moment. So I decided to pick the 2018 Women's Rumble. Is the first Women's Rumble we've had, and I feel like they did really well with including people from the current roster and legends, and I think there was somebody from NXT at that point, if I remember correctly. But again, it's like it's the first time the women get to have a Royal Rumble. Everybody's nervous, and I feel like it was a fun match to begin with. And I feel like it gave the woman another opportunity to really shine through. And I believe that's the only time the women have been evented with the Royal Rumble as well. So that's my pick.
That was a good one too. I just recently
Mhm.
watched that one over again, and it was
Hmm.
booked brilliantly.
Yes, I
So where
loved.
would we like to put this?
That's an important match as well.
We might have to. Do we want to move down the Flair Ronda and Reyes so we can put that one at three?
I mean, it does have more people than that one that has only three.
Yeah.
I
So,
don't know. You want to like put Trisha five, Flair four, and
Mhm.
then the Royal Rumble two. Okay, wait.
yeah, I like that.
So we
Keeping the
want
one
to
more.
push the ones that's already up down one.
So we're moving Aja and Trish to 5. We're pushing everybody up one.
Or down one.
Move
Is it
down
up?
one. So,
Wait, up? How would that be since
well,
we're
push
going?
it
Okay.
down.
We're going up numbers.
Wait, is the okay?
Uh,
So the Royal Rumble match going to be 3 or 2?
I feel like I wanted it to, but I also feel like the Trish and Lita was more important almost,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, and then the Royal Rumble. If we're going by like years of importance almost, but then I don't really know because it was the first one.
Hmm.
Mm,
That part is tough.
hmm
We could
Mm.
put
it
the
is. It does get tough
Royal.
because these are and
That's what this is. Yeah, this is.
these are some heavy hitters y'all starting with too. That just shows, but that shows how strong this list is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
Uh.
say maybe Trisha and Lita at 2 just because it happened first.
Yeah, that's
And it's
kind of what I'm
away
thinking.
it's
And,
away from everything else that happened later on. So I'll say
oh,
that and then maybe the Rumble 3.
Yeah, let's do
okay.
that. I can
And
go. I'll go
then
with that. Yeah.
Yeah. I
okay.
like how we're
So
keeping the number one safe and blank for the moment.
Yeah, for the the one we really we know
Like,
we
we're
want.
not doing that one yet.
okay. So I will put that as 3.
So 2018 Rumble at 3.
Yeah.
And
And
everyone else
then
just moved
we
down.
put
Then Flair 4. Yeah.
Mhm.
Boom. All right. So just to double check, just make sure my list is matching up with the other one. Trish and Lita at 2, 2018 Rumble at 3, Charlotte, Becky, Ronda at 4, and Aja and Trish at 5.
yeah.
Mm.
All right. All right.
Okay, hold on.
Now, D,
hmm
what you got? What you got next?
I'm gonna say Chelsea Green and Meechin for the U.S. Women's Championship. I know it's recent, but I feel like that
Hmm.
was really important, and because they had so many good matches before, building up to that, that didn't have anything to do obviously with the women's bracket, but them just the way they built both of them up. Like it was, I feel like that match, it was really tough for everyone to pick who they wanted to win because I love Chelsea Green, but I really wanted it to be Meechin, and I'm still kind of like waiting for them to give Meechin her time, but I don't know how they're going to do it now. But I think Chelsea's a great, you know, champion right now. I think she was a great first champion, and as she says, the undefeated champion. So I picked Chelsea Green and Meechin at the Saturday night main events. Also, because it was the first Saturday night main events for the first time in years, and for them
Hmm.
to be able to have a women's match on there and not like totally ignore women, I think that's perfect for the list.
Was that the main event?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No,
No, I don't think
mm-mm.
so.
Maybe I'm
I
tripping.
think they
I
were
thought it.
pretty. I think it was CM Punk and Drew, and then it was them, Chelsea, but I can't remember completely.
I don't know. I'm thinking that was the main event, but it definitely could have been.
It
It definitely could have been. It was a
Maybe it
really
was
good
your
match.
main event. There's a difference there. See?
That's probably what it was. Wishful thinking on my part.
Yeah.
Where would we like to put this?
Uh,
I'm kind of biased. I'm biased because I really like Chelsea and
Mhm,
Nietzsche.
exactly.
yeah.
I I want to put them five. I feel
I
honestly.
was yeah, I was thinking between 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So 5 and 6.
Let's put. I guess we could put them at five and see what everyone else picks. Then we'll go off of there. We'll just move stuff around. We've been doing good moving stuff around. I feel
Hmm.
as we pick
So
stuff.
Okay.
so Mia and Chelsea at 5, and did that move Aja and Trish to 6.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Megan,
Hmm.
you are up.
Okay. I have to say that my next choice is the Mercedes Monet versus Kyrie New Japan Pro Wrestling Battle in the Valley 2023 match. This is Mercedes' first post WWE match. It was monumental. for her, especially with how she left WWE. I stayed up to watch that match. And she won. She won the title. She won the title that for that in that very first match. It was just really good seeing her back in the ring. Um after the controversy and stuff. So yeah, that's my choice. Mercedes Monet, new name, new face, new look is what I mean. Um and Kyrie, New Japan Pro Wrestling, new promotion.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So everything was new. So yeah.
And where would we like to put this history making match?
That one's tough. Ah. Mhm.
I tell you, it does get tougher because just looking at I have a list as well, and yeah, I don't. There's a reason why I just moderate.
Because it just feels wrong to put it at 7, though.
Yeah, do we six, five maybe? I don't.
Mm.
Mm,
Yeah, I'll say
do we
5 is a
want?
good spot.
But yeah, for now, and
Five.
then we can switch things up. I'm kind of thinking four, but I don't want to take anything away from that. That also. But I'll do five for now. Five is
Five.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
we're looking at 5 for that one, which would move Michin and Chelsea to 6, and Aja and Trish to 7. They say you all work a whole lot faster than we did last week.
yeah.
All right, Astrid, you are up. What do you have?
I feel like this one's gonna be tough to rank, but um, it's definitely historical. It's the first time two black women main event of WrestleMania, and so far it's the last women's main event for WrestleMania we had recently, and that's Bianca versus Sasha. I feel like it was so historical. The crowd reaction, even their reaction going into the match when they were basically crying before it even got started. Um,
Yes.
and I feel like they gave us such a great match. It's hard to forget it. And it just when I think about it now, it's like this is the last time we saw a woman main event in what 5 years at this point, almost I think. So
Mhm.
it's one of
Hmm.
the few times women have main events at a WrestleMania to begin with. So I definitely had to bring it up.
Mhm.
Definitely one of my top 10 matches of all time.
Mhm.
Where do you want to put this? Ooh.
I don't know. Let me think
I
about it.
would
What are we thinking,
say
ladies?
I would say push Trish and Lita up one and
Okay.
put them at number two.
Yeah, because I definitely think that's a, yeah, top three, top four match for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because everyone was crying that day. So,
Uh,
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
Uh, push them at that. And everybody else kind of,
just shifts down.
Yep.
yeah. So we have Lita and Trish at 1, Bianca and Sasha at 2. Gotcha. All right. D, what you got for me?
Okay, this one, I feel like this will be like maybe like a 8 or 9 position. I know it's important to me, but I'm not sure. It's another Indies match. It's Thunder Rosa versus Allison Kay. It was a cage match. I only say this is an important match to me, and this is one of my favorites because it's one of the first matches that I saw live when I started coming back into wrestling. Like, I will say, from like the days my daughters were born until about, I would say, 2020. I wasn't really able to do, like, like grown up things, I would say. So it was kind of just having
Mhm.
them grow up, them doing, kind of going through the, growing with them, cartoons, stuff like that, kind of controlled my life. So this was kind of, I started going back into wrestling shows around, I would say, November 2021, um, 2020, 2021, at that time. So this was one of the first shows, and it was at Mission Pro Wrestling at Thunder Rose's, at her show that she throws. I know it's kind of on hiatus right now since she's wrestling more in AEW. But as of right now, for me, that was really monumental because it's also the first cage match I ever saw live. So yeah, for me, yeah, the cage match where Allison Kay versus Thunder Rosa. And because I love Thunder Rosa, she's one of my favorite wrestlers. So
It's a big heavy hitter. You got for your first one back, was this a cage match? Ooh.
yes, yeah, and that's what it was. Yeah, that's why, to me, like, I had never. I think growing up, I had always watched wrestling, but like I had only watched it. So this was my first experience as a grown up, growing up, going out to these shows, and she was the first company I ever worked with also. So that was just like amazing to me. I had never seen a cage match. I was like literally like right there, almost second row, and it was so good to me. I was like, this is why I love this kind of thing. Like, it made me go back.
I'll see.
So
All right, where we want to throw them?
I don't know. I haven't seen the match, but I know obviously the two people that are being a part of it, and Mission Pro is one of those companies that it does so well for women's wrestling. It's unfortunate that it's on a hiatus because I like how they highlight women and how they're able to take that platform and take advantage of it.
yeah.
Um, but I wasn't say just because I haven't seen it, I would say maybe 10 or 9. But
Yeah,
that's the only
that's
reason
how I
why.
felt. I was like, it's
Yeah.
definitely, it's monumental. Like, it, I think it is monumental, but I don't think it's like high on the list compared to what
Mhm.
we already have, kind of thing.
I
Mm.
think it. So I think it's a good submission because there's not a lot
Hmm.
of cage matches happening on the indies, and especially involving just the women.
Hmm.
Right.
So
And they hit each other. They basically, the first like 15 minutes was just them using their MMA background and not really using the cage. So it was just a lot of them submission moves, trying to just like beat each other up the whole time. So
mhm.
it was a great match. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely check it out because
Mhm.
yeah, that made me like go, oh, I love this again. So
Mm. So we looking 9.
I would
What
say,
we thinking?
yeah, I would think
9.
10 actually, but depending on what we have come up next, I'm gonna go with 9 because I feel like we're just pushing stuff down. So I would
Oh
say
yeah.
9.
Oh yeah. I got something for
Yeah.
y'all.
Mhm.
So 9.
Mhm.
Okay. It's Thunder and who?
And Allison K.
Allison K.
I don't know how to spell her name. Kay.
K
Mm-hmm.
Y. Mhm.
Okay.
All right, Megan, the ball is in your court.
Okay. So when Drizzy came to me and asked me to come up with a list of my favorite women's matches, but also because of the importance of it being Women's History Month, I wanted to think of matches that made history. So, of course, with Dora kind of opening the door to Miss Thunder Rosa, I have another Thunder Rosa match, and that is the first ever match to main event, first women's match to ever main event at Dynamite. Also, the first unsanctioned lights out women's match, which was Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker, which also went down as one of the bloodiest women's matches in U.S. TV history is a trifecta if you think about
Mhm.
it. But um, just for it to be again like Trish and Lita, the first women's match to main event in AEW, as well as being the first women's unsanctioned match in um AEW. It just is important. It's an important match. So yeah, Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. Britt Baker bled a lot that match too, so that was
Mhm.
also kind of
Yeah,
gory.
Thunder loves bleeding. I will say that. She will beat someone up. So,
Mm.
So yeah, definitely a historical match.
So many firsts, so many firsts. What we want to do? Where we want to put this one?
where is Chelsea and Meechin at right now? Are they at five,
They
six?
are at 6.
Mm.
I think maybe switching those, like maybe putting this one that Meg mentioned at 9. I mean at 6, and
Hmm.
then Chelsea Meechin to 9.
I am going to throw a curveball at you all.
Uh-oh.
Just as I asked you how to make lists, I made a list too. And I'm going to give you guys maybe 2 or 3 just to see if they make the list. If not, that's fine. But just to add a little bit of just craziness into the list. The first match I'm going to ask you guys about is a personal favorite of mine. From TNA Slammiversary, I want to say 2006 or 8. I'm not 100% sure. Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell last knockout standing.
Oh my god, I was thinking about that one.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I had. Did I have it on my list? I know I was looking at it and I was debating about adding it, but I don't think I added it to my list though.
Is it something
Because
you
I,
guys want to add to this list?
because I was thinking of adding a TNA one just to make it a little bit more different from everything else on my list. And I
Mm,
kept thinking, what from TNA really stands out to me? And it was between that and the Women's Ultimate X because it's the only
mm,
one I think that has the women. And I think it was
Hmm.
in 23, if I'm not mistaken. And I was like,
mm.
it was a fun match. And I was like, I want something from TNA in here. So I ended up adding the Ultimate X instead of that one. But I had that one in mind for every single time.
We
Does
know
that
your
list?
three first, and then we pick from the three. Will that?
Yes, let's do that.
You
I
want to
like
do
that.
that?
I
Yeah.
like that idea a whole lot better. See, all right, so that's one. The second one is from Stardom. Tom Nakano versus Julia, her versus her. And the last one is the 2019 Women's War Games match, Team Rhea versus Team Shayna.
Mm. I feel like it's tough because I haven't seen the Stardom one, so I can't really say anything
Yeah, I
about
haven't
that
seen the
one.
Stardom one before either.
Then we'll go ahead and take that one
Uh,
out.
but the War Games one, that one's tough.
Hmm.
uh, mm-mm.
I don't know.
I feel like I want to say the Gail Kim match only because we don't have a TNA yet on
Hmm.
there.
Mhm.
Okay. Any objections?
Uh,
And I'm just trying to think of
And
where I could put it.
yeah, that's the next question. Where would you like to put that?
Oh.
we should raise the stakes. We
Mm.
should raise the stakes by everyone naming one more match.
Mm.
Ooh, digging those lists. What else we got? What else we got?
Because you know I got more than three. because I figured other people was going to choose the same matches.
You're absolutely
Mm,
correct on that. So, Astrid, you got another one that you want to throw into the hat?
uh, I feel like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna bring this one up because I feel like it gets talked about still. And it's Bailey versus Sasha, the first one from NXT that everybody mentions that
Mm.
inspires a lot of women to be wrestlers. From I was gonna say from this like newer generation, but it's hard to pick because I was also there for the Iron Woman match. So that was the rematch in Orlando, so I was there for that one, and I enjoyed that one too. But I feel like a lot more people talk about the first one more than the Iron Woman match, so I'll say the first one.
The one at NXT Brooklyn. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was a. I think it was a regular match, wasn't it?
It
I think it
was
was.
yeah, it was just a regular match, straight up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'll say that one. So I'll put it at Sasha's Bailey Brooklyn just to be specific.
Mm-hmm. D,
Yeah.
what you got?
I only picked three actually, guys, but I would say, I would say, I think I really enjoyed Bianca and Naomi versus Jakara and Lash, just because that's the
Mm,
first time I've kind of seen the main roster go down to the NXT roster for such like an important match and belts that
Mhm.
are important. And I think that is probably mine. Yeah, I would say that's mine.
Absolutely.
mm.
Because I love tag matches and they did so good this year to me, I think. So
They did.
Jakara and Lash
So
definitely, I need a main roster. We need a better tag team divisions. Gotta build these up.
And it was all black women.
yes,
I want to say Daphne was the referee in it too.
I think
Maybe I think so.
so.
And was Alicia Taylor there? I might be adding too much onto it now, but
NXT.
um, no, it's Mike Rome now.
okay.
Unless it was one of those one-offs that he wasn't there. I don't remember if he was or not.
I said that might just be again my wishful thinking. Uh, Megan, you got one to add?
Um, yes. My last choice is the Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair, the first women's Hell in a Cell match, the
Mm,
first women's match to main event at a pay per view. This is
mm,
before the Charlotte Ronda and Rhea match.
mm,
Yeah, just seeing these small women in a big cell, like Hell in a Cell, and they was just tearing each other to shreds. Another notch to WWE, even though it took so long. Um, we still dealing with a lot of firsts when it comes down to WWE. Um, but yeah, that match kind of stands out for me. I think that's one of the matches that really made me a fan of Charlotte. But it also made me realize why her and Sasha is one of the or two of the four horsewomen. So
mm.
yeah.
So, from the four matches we have spoken, which one do we want to put on that list?
Mm,
So we have one spot left.
mm. It's to me, I did think of that Hell in a Cell, but I also thought about that Bailey and Sasha Hell in a Cell because I loved it even more than that one. And it's hard
Mm,
to even say that at that point. But
Hmm.
I do feel like the Hell in a Cell was really important too, just because I think it was the first woman's Hell in a Cell like altogether, if I'm not mistaken as well.
mm. I
Yeah.
believe it. I believe so. Hmm. But what
Yeah.
are we thinking? What are we thinking, y'all? Which one we put?
I was gonna say if we do pick that one, I think the eight it's the spot we have missing, right? Or something like that, maybe.
10.
Uh,
Or we can
we,
move them down. We can move people
yeah,
around.
yeah. People can get moved.
We can
In
move
fact,
people around.
this list has been moving constantly, so it's all right. But what do we think? Like I said, I absolutely love the Sasha Bailey Brooklyn pick. Actually, I was at all of these are really good ones, and there's like 10 times more that we haven't even talked about.
I know, and I picked one. I made a list of like at least 10 matches in case anybody got repeated that I could pick up for somebody something else
See,
too.
she came with a plan. She was ready for this.
Um,
Mm, see,
I don't know. I don't know.
let's
I'm
let's do it like this. Do we
multi-choice.
like Sasha and Bailey over Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell?
mm, I don't know. It's just like I think Dora mentioned it earlier. Is like I wanted to put something else from another company there, and that's the major reason why
Mm,
I wanted to include Gail and Taryn.
technically, NXT. Well, here on Wrestling Republic, we look at NXT as a different company because we refuse to believe that WWE owns them.
I feel you.
Which is so
Yeah,
good.
Plus, I was thinking
yeah.
about the fact that when I think of TNA, especially when I was starting to watch TNA, I think
Hmm.
of TNA doesn't get enough credit for their place in the women's evolution as well. And I feel
Hmm.
like even before WWE really started to really pick up on that, TNA was already doing that. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted a TNA match on the list because I was thinking this company doesn't get talked about enough about how they gave the knockouts a lot of first before even WWE came in the picture to bring in their first as well. So I think that's the major reason why I wanted Gail Kim and Taryn in here somehow. But yeah.
Hmm. Is there anything that we would take off the list currently that we want to put there for that?
Mm. It just feels like a crime to do it. uh,
Mm.
I think I'd be good with adding the TNA match just so we have at least that representation on there because
mhm.
I feel like we went and picked like three other great matches again. So now it's kind of like, now we need a top 15 almost. And then we'll get stuck picking two more.
Yeah.
So.
Listen,
Yeah.
we might as well just. It's gonna end up being it's gonna end up being a top 50 list. It's gonna be a top 50.
Okay.
Mm. I think what's the number that's missing? Is it 10?
10 technically, but D said we can move anybody around.
Mhm.
I was gonna say if it's easy, we can just put Taryn and Gail at number 10.
Put them at 10.
I think we should put them at 9 and we can move down the Thunder and Allison cage match to 10. That's where they're at right now, right? They're at 10.
They are at 7, but we can move them to 10.
Mm, I think we could do Thunder versus Britt and then Chelsea versus Mitchin. Should we do that?
Mm,
Because I feel like Chelsea and Mitchin should probably be higher than where they're at.
Chelsea and Meechin at 7.
I think so.
Mhm.
okay, so we'll move that to 7. Mia and Chelsea Green are at 7. Allison K and Thunder Rosa are currently at 8 now. We go with that.
Yeah.
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 And then Aja and Trish, and then Taryn and Gail Kim.
Okay. Yeah.
Gail
All right.
Kim and who?
Taryn Terrell. Just put hot mess.
Yeah.
The original hot mess.
Ah. Okay.
All right. The other matches that we spoke of, do we like any of them on this list?
I like them, but I feel it's gonna be a lot of trouble to rank them.
Mm. Do we want to add them in? Just make them honorable mentions?
Yeah, I like that.
No. All right. So at that point, we have our top 10, but I want everybody just to go around and give at least two honorable mentions. Let's say Megan. I'll let you go first.
Ooh. Um. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. I have the first women's Money in the Bank match.
Mm.
I want to say 2017. I think that's what it was. Um, for obvious reasons. And Jesus. Okay, this is a throwback. Lita versus Victoria. I think it was the year before Lita and Trish.
Mm-hmm.
First ever women's steel cage match. Um, yeah, 2003. So
Okay.
yes, Victoria and Lita, 2003, and the first women's Money in the Bank match.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Those are my two choices.
All right. Astrid, you next.
I think I definitely mentioned one of them already. That was the Bailey and Sasha, the first Brooklyn match. So I just
Mm-hmm.
named it that, so I can put it differently than the rest. The other one that I really thought about was the 2019 Women's Chamber because it was for the inaugural, like, women's, I wouldn't say inaugural with quotes, women's tag team champions. So we had the Boss and Hawk connection winning them, and
Mm-hmm.
it just, I feel like not only being that that's the first time that we get women like having that show and being tag team champions, but the fact that they mentioned how they fought for those titles and they fought to have that title match there only for it to become a reality and to see where the tag team division's at now. I feel like it's really monumental. So I would say those two matches are two of the ones that I wanted to put as my honorable mentions.
Nice. Very nice. D, you're up.
I would say the first Divas Championship match with Michelle McCool and Natalia.
Mm.
And then I know technically China was, wrestling a man, but when she wins the Intercontinental Championship against Jeff Jarrett.
So I don't hate that, and I was curious about that too because if that would have been something to add, but I think maybe we could come up with it actually gives me an idea for another list of intergender matches. Maybe we could do another
Mhm.
time.
Yeah,
So that might be something to look out for in the future. Um,
yeah.
for my honorable mentions, I am going to give y'all where was it? It is, and I lost my on a random AEW Rampage. Anna Jay and Tay Conti versus the Bunny and Penelope Ford, and Athena and Willow at Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor. Let's say those are the honorable mentions. Let's go through our list one more time before we lock it in. At number 10, we have Taryn Terrell and Gail Kim at Slammiversary. Number 9, Aja Kong and Trish at Ashe. Number 8, Allison Kay and Thunder Rosa at Mission Pro in the Steel Cage. Number 7, Mia Yim and Gail Kim. Mia Yim and Chelsea Green at Saturday Night Main Event. Number 6, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa unsanctioned lights out match at I think it was St. Patty's Day Smash on Dynamite. Number 5, Kyrie versus Mercedes Moné at Battle at the Valley. Number 4, Charlotte versus Becky versus Ronda WrestleMania 30 at a WrestleMania. When they start throwing those Roman numerals around, it messes me up. Number 3, the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble. Number 2, Bianca versus Sasha at Mania 37. And number 1, Trish versus Lita Monday Night Raw main event. First ever. Is that our list? We locking it in? The panel has submitted it. We have locked it in. That is our list. Now, remember, There are no wrong answers in these lists. So if you feel that we forgot something, or you just want to add some suggestions to these lists, sometimes we'll come back. We might come back and look at them again. Feel free to put them in the comments below, and make sure you're watching women's wrestling. They are just as talented as the men, and at times their matches are 10 times better, and they are very main event. I can't even words can't even describe some of the most amazing main events have come from the women's division, especially when it comes to the NXT women's division, one of the best women's division ever. The TNA knockouts, who have been basically keeping women's wrestling alive in North America for years, and just all the tremendous talent that are around. Keep your eyes peeled for the next episode of Grappling with for Position. I thank Megan, D, and Astrid. Thank you all so much for coming on and just giving your insight on women's wrestling. It really means a lot to make sure that those voices are out there. Women do not get enough love, and I want to make sure that you guys are out there at the forefront getting and receiving all that love, because your voices are important in this community. Um, if there's anything else that I forgot, before we go, Astrid, let us know where we can find you at.
You can find me mostly on our local establishment OLE podcast. I'm there on Tuesdays doing taking over with my tag team partner Ed, talking about NXT, and on Fridays, making an impact, talking about Impact Wrestling slash TNA. And you can find me occasionally on the weekends there for other post shows as well. Other than that, you can find me on my socials. My Twitter and Blue Sky is Astrid Pizarro, and my Instagram is Astrid Pizarro 20. You can also find me on my YouTube channel, which is Astrid Pizarro as well. I have a lot of content there as well, and a lot more coming up, hopefully. So subscribe if you haven't.
All right. D, where can we find you at?
D the Machine 24 on Instagram and Twitter. Like I said, right now I'm not really connected to any kind of podcast since We Love Wrestling isn't functioning right now, I guess is the term. But if you're in Texas, you can catch me at any like indie shows. I try and get to any kind of wrestling indie shows that are near Austin or San Antonio. I haven't started traveling outside of those areas just yet. But indie shows, Mission Pro Wrestling Spotlight, I do work with them most often, I would say. Sports for You, Black Wrestling Podcast. Keep watching the indie scene. Keep watching O'Shea. Fourth Rope also they've also started doing shows. Just keep watching the women wrestlers is all I can say.
Absolutely, absolutely. Megan, where can we find you? Even though we already know where to find you.
um, of course, you can find me at I am Megan Ambers on Twitter, Megan Ambers on Instagram. You can also find me on If I May Speak Candidly. My baby, my little my podcast love. Um, and of course here, which you will see me in about 2 hours on a daily today, where we will talk about what happened on SmackDown and probably one of the biggest women storylines in the
Oh,
history of SmackDown, which took place yesterday. So riding out on this episode of women's matches, looking forward to whatever match comes out from that story. Should be good.
I'm not ready. I'm not
Gonna
ready.
be,
I've been in shambles. I've been in
was
shambles.
it's gonna be good. I'm looking
Oh,
forward to seeing Trinity finally
That
get the
was
upper
some
hand on Jade.
award season. We gotta try and get them in there because that was so good. I don't even know. Tell them make up a category because that was great
there
I'm
yesterday.
was
They did
trying.
some fantastic work. Is all I can. The
so much
tears, the
tears.
they let each other. Oh, it was good. It was a great climax because I didn't know what they were gonna do to bring her back. I was already getting frustrated. Like, where's Jade?
Yeah.
So the way they
The,
brought her back has been. This is good. I liked
this
it.
Mm-hmm.
has been the cinema of the very last words of Trinity before her face was smashed into that ring was
Bianca.
Bianca.
They're
Oh
so
my
good. I
gosh.
hope they do. I
Chef's
hope they
kiss.
do their own writing because that was so good. I think
That
they.
was that just broke my heart. She
It
did
was.
it for Bianca.
Yeah, she did it for her friend. Ugh. She did nothing wrong. I feel like none of them
Her
did
friends,
anything wrong,
yeah,
but
you need
I
friends
support
like
all
that.
their rights and wrongs. So
Yes,
Mhm.
Oh
that was
man.
the chills.
Oh
Exactly.
Jesus. Y'all gonna make me cry again. I just see the tears rolling down our eyes. All right, let me get into it. I ain't supposed to be crying. All right. Again, ladies, D, Astrid, Megan, thank you all so much for being on this show. Before we roll out, the same message is always gonna ring from me. Be the one and not the two, because nobody can do you better than you do. I am Dryzzy, and we are out. Oh, before I go, make sure you check out all the Restaurant Republic products that is taken to the table. Off the air, Sunday Night Spotlight, sold separately, and the flagship show, the daily broadcast, is set to start in like another 2 hours at the time of this recording. But we are, I am Drizzy, Megan, and I think Megan, you on there today?
Yes. I just did
Boom.
that.
Go check her out. All
Yes.
right, yeah.
I will be on.
All right, I'm pulling the Clark. All right, everybody, peace.